Brothers and sisters, friends, there is something called justice. This word and this concept is not taught in our education system. It is not taught in our families. It is not taught in society, in entertainment industry, uh, in social media, etc. But we all feel the worst pain when there is injustice that happens to us, and we can sympathize with people who face injustice. Justice is so very important concept and requirement and element in our lives, but we often neglect it. We don't study it. We don't care for it as much as it is needed, and therefore we are all living unfulfilled and dissatisfied lives. Therefore, what I'm trying to say is, if you want justice to happen, justice will happen in human relationships or not happens. So if we want to ensure justice to occur for everybody, not just us, we need to step up our game and set in new rules. To begin with, we can take up practicing the following rule. We will not assume anything unless we get first-hand information from anything about anybody, especially in the case of negative things. Number one. Number two, in the absence of first-hand information, we ask them. We ask the person who is in question, himself or herself. Then we will see what they say. And we will believe, the third point is, we will believe whatever that person says in so many words on their face value. We take those words for face value. This is the amount of minimum trust we need to have if we need to have human relationships. Okay. Yes, people will tell lies, etc., because they have not started to practice justice like this that we are trying to do. So slowly they will learn. But it is not a problem that you may be cheated a few times, but it is a problem that in the fear of getting cheated, you cheat people, or you ignore people and you skip human relationships and you be unfulfilled most of your life, right? We need to be broader and larger hearted, so that we say that we allow you, I believe you, and if we sincerely, innocently believe, and they will slowly see the point what we are trying to make and the sacrifice that we are trying to make by allowing us to be cheated, and then they will slowly not cheat, and then they will slowly work on their own conscience, and they will also try to be serious in their relationships to serve justice. Now, the 3 points are done. We believe. The third point is that we believe whatever that person says. And then, if we have some evidence against what they say, in support of whatever they are saying, then it is great. But if we have an evidence that is conflicting with what they are saying, we show the evidence to them also, and then we ask an explanation. Not that we are questioning them or demanding an explanation, but just as if we are confused about this and that. So please help me understand what happened. They will explain. When they explain, we again believe. Okay. That is the fourth step. The fifth step is, if there is if only when and if this you have asked that person is not to be found and not responding deliberately or not responding because of circumstances, etc., and you have to take a decision on something, then only you can assume. Okay. And then assume what might have happened. Before that, we don't assume. We ask, we verify, and we trust. Now, when we assume, let us assume positively. And this positive, it is very important. This positive thing could be according to the truth or not. And what the other person might think is positive may be different from what you think is positive, but you have assumed positively only. But that the other person has seen it as a negative thing. The other person has seen it as a negative thing. Okay? Or not positive enough. So all these problems will come up. Still, we have to do our best. We have to assume positively. And now the next step is, if all these things are not happening, then we need to apply this last resort. We can request the other person, let us talk everything threadbare, solve all the problems between us. We will do it face to face. We will do it in the presence of others people, or we will record it. We will have a live telecast, and then it will be on record. Let us openly discuss, solve the problems, just like two countries solve their problems. Two big entities, two big companies solve their problems. Of course, it is business like. So what? Business is evil in one aspect, but it is very, very good in being efficient. We need to take these lessons from businesses. It is bad in the aspect that it is by definition exploitative in nature. That is a different matter. But the methods they employ to solve differences, to come to deal, to give and take policy, to try to get to win-win situation. However, that winning is defined by each, etc. So what I'm trying to say is we need to employ these methods where, as a last resort, this is what I'm saying. So if people are not ready to be as transparent as you are, after you have done all these things, we cannot do anything. They don't want to be in such a committed relationship. They don't want to be so plain, so forthcoming. And that's their choice. We respect their choice. And then we can skip people and we can plan accordingly that we cannot do anything about it. Okay? But we also have to understand that most people have become like that, non-transparent, opaque, and they would be terribly annoyed if you force them to be transparent, to come out with what they think in their minds. They'd be terribly annoyed. They would withdraw all their support to you if you force them to be transparent. If you force them to say what they're saying in private, if you force them to say in writing, if you force them to say on video, or if you force them to say in front of other people or on stage, they would be terribly upset with you. Now this, unfortunately, this trait cannot be corrected or cannot be solved overnight or even in a matter of years. They have to permit themselves to outgrow this kind of tendency in lifetimes. I mean, it is like Punarjanma ka Siddhant ke anusar hi, they will be able to outmaneuver themselves from such a self-defeating and brutal, beastly animal nature that they are still carrying with them, in spite of getting a human body, etc. Why I say that is, let me complete after this last statement. Why I am calling that animal is that, imagine a donkey, wild donkey, or a giraffe, or a zebra, or such animals, even lion or tiger or wolf, fox, etc. All these animals that are not in contact with human beings. Imagine they are in their wilderness, etc. Do you think they are open? Do you think they are thinking about everybody else or themselves alone? Do you think how much of thinking, I mean, okay, if they're not capable of much thinking, that's a different matter. But imagine if they are able to think, okay, whatever they think, whatever they have in their minds is a secret. Nobody knows, only the wilderness. It's just poetically speaking, but nobody knows, and they will not allow anybody to know. They will not allow anybody to know. The same thing so many people are carrying, because it is newly that they have started taking human bodies. Therefore, this will persist for many more, or hopefully few more lives. But then it will end, and they will be ready to accept the truth and work on the basis of justice when they get there. Till then, we have to resign to the fact and truth, and be graceful enough to give them the time that the nature is already giving. Thank you.